Hey, what's up guys? We're back again with a Pokemon Pocket deck that doesn't need any of the new cards and is one of the best decks to cruise through the 45 win challenge. Exeggutor EX is an absolute beast with 160 health, only costing 1 energy to deal over 40 damage or 80 damage if you flip a heads is ridiculous, allowing you to one-shot most basic Pokemon in the game and giving you a special easy matchup into the strongest card in the game, Darkrai, giving you a matchup advantage into all the Darkrai Greninja decks, the fighting decks, and any Darkrai deck in the game. And since Exeggutor sets up so quick, you're able to play a really reliable deck that makes your opponents rage quit as soon as they realize they lose. And if Exeggutor EX's tankiness wasn't scary enough already, you can bolster its health using Giant Cape for an extra 20 health, or heal it up with Potion or Erica. This is the most optimal version of the deck that has 1 Celebi, so you can set it up in the back line so you can eventually have enough energy to snipe Charizards or Mewtwo's or Gyaradoses if you're unlucky enough to play into those matchups. It's time to terrorize Darkrai's with trees and assert dominance. It's refreshing to see old meta tactics come back in full force. This Exeggutor deck is very strong in the meta, beating a lot of the Darkrai decks and Palkia. The top threats in the meta literally lose to a strategy from older cards, which is really cool that you don't have to spend money and unlock everything in the new set to remain competitive. If you want, you can just use this big beefy boy with a huge amount of health and make your opponent pretty miserable. So we're going to try to buff him up as much as possible, maybe use some giant capes, outmaneuver our opponents, do what we can do. Definitely not going to use Pokemon communication on our Exeggutor because we need that. If we don't have our Exeggutor, we're going to get destroyed. That is the main way that this deck is played. This guy is probably going to be playing a Dialga deck based off of the fact that we see Yanma, and then, usually that's going to be paired with Dialga. Maybe he's going to be running something different though. But no, he's got Grass Energy. I didn't notice that. Okay. I don't really know what he's playing. This is an interesting deck. Anyway, we are going to go and drop our Exeggutor real soon. And this is a beautiful start for us because if we end up hitting heads, he already loses his first Pokemon. That's one of the things about Exeggutor. It already does ridiculous damage, even without hitting that heads. But if you do hit the heads, you're even further ahead. So I kind of just want to cook that card, honestly, because that's where his energy is at. So let's just see. Hey, beautiful. It doesn't always happen, and you don't have to count on it because, let's be real, if I don't hit the heads, I'm knocking him out next turn as well. And we could always Sabrina to go and pull in a Pokemon that he retreats to. So he retreats out that Yanma. It's going to die if he doesn't have a second Pokemon on the bench. Also, there's certain situations where your opponent just gets unlucky hands, right? And the fact that you can knock them out if they don't have a bench Pokemon as early as possible, dealing 80 damage, like not much is surviving that, man. So yeah, unless you have an EX Pokemon first turn, you're kind of dead. So I am definitely going to go and use the Pokeball here. Ideally, we're going to be able to hit a Celebi because then we can start setting up a Celebi on the back and plotting and putting our energy there. So I'm going to actually use our Pokemon communication and try to hit a Celebi. This is not necessarily advised for everyone, but for me, that's the way I want to play. All right, beautiful. Wow, awesome. Because the Exeggutor only takes 1 energy. So you have this freebie where you can just start loading up energy on the back with your Celebi, and it allows you to beat matchups like a Charizard that you typically wouldn't be able to win against. That's why you have the Celebi in the deck, specifically just for that matchup. So I could Erica right now because we're just going to heal up the damage that we took. Then we're feeling real good about it. And he just left. Yeah, he just realized the game was over because all we were going to do for the rest of the game was hit him up with the Exeggutor, try to like one-shot whatever he had, and then set up our Celebi. And if he kills the Exeggutor, which, he would take 2 prizes, then he would have to take another 2 prizes by beating the Celebi there. We wouldn't even put anything on the back line, so then he could get lucky with the Sabrina and then force out our Execute if we didn't have an Exeggutor, because then it would be pretty costly for us to, ever get that thing out and then maneuver to our Celebi. We want to make sure that we always have the Exeggutor and have our Celebi on the back line, and we heal up our Exeggutor, being the most obnoxious person on this planet because he has to break through 160 health. And then when we're setting up our Celebi, we'll have so many coin tosses to pummel whatever he has on the back line. All right, we are playing against a chef, and hopefully we can cook a Darkrai deck. That would make me super happy because we have huge matchup into Darkrai. It takes extra damage and is definitely the most played deck at the top of the game right now. And he's got Darkrai in his sleeve, and then also, you know, he's got Dark Energy. So I think it's a making for a recipe for success for us. Let's see if he even starts Darkrai. He does. Beautiful. It's almost as if I summoned it. So obviously, with the advantage, we're going to be able to do 40 damage to this Darkrai right out of the jump whenever we're able to attack, which I super like. And I am not even that pressed here. If he wants to drop an energy and then, you know, damage our Exeggutor a little bit, we got Exeggutor. So he needs to red card us right now if he wants to get that out of my hand. And there's still a high likelihood that I'm able to draw it again because our deck is built in a way where we don't have that many Pokemon and we're able to cycle through it pretty quickly with double Pokeballs, you know, the communication card, also Professor's Oak. So it's just, it is nice. Like right now, assuming that I had the Celebi or another Execute, I could always Pokemon Communication. But obviously that's not what you want to do when you get Exeggutor in your starting hand. So gonna roll with that, put our 1 energy here. And bare minimum, we're doing 60 damage. Max, we're doing 100 to this Darkrai. And if we do 100 to the Darkrai, then it's cooked in the next turn. So yeah, you're just gonna hit him up here. We're not even gonna play a supporter card because it doesn't matter. We get the 100 damage. So that's beautiful. Imagine doing 100 damage to your Pokemon's EX Pokemon turn 1. Unbelievable. And it only cost 1 energy. Like, his deck is the most played deck in the game right now. Well, not actually. He shouldn't be playing it with Weezing at the highest level. I think it's typically Greninja plus Darkrai. That's what I've been seeing in tournaments. So, yeah, his deck doesn't make the most sense, but it's still like a top tier contender. And each time that he puts energy on the Darkrai, he bashes me for 20 damage. And then he's going to be setting up the Darkrai. It's just obnoxious. It's not something that you typically want to be playing against. I guess he's going for the roll, which, I mean, I respect. I respect the hustle, my dude. I just don't think it's necessarily the right play. Anyway, we are easily able to go in for the Giant Cape here and just keep our Exeggutor a little bit healthier. I do enjoy that. And we could also go in for the Potion to be a bit of a memer. And now we are back to our 160 base. You love to see it. So our Celebi is setting up in the back line, just like I was talking about in the earlier game. Really like doing that. And we hit, so he's gone. It's just deleted and yeeted from the game. So if he's even able to kill our Exeggutor, then he starts to work on our Celebi afterward. And our Celebi, meanwhile, is just like banking up all the energy, just leaves. So this is what happens. When you play Exeggutor, you win games quick. It is by far my favorite basic Pokemon that you can be playing very early on. Well, I guess it's not a basic. It's just a stage 2 evolution compared to like a Mewtwo or a Charizard deck where you have to hit 3 stages for it to be powerful. Exeggutor just gets online way faster, so you're going to be successful more often. Oh, and by the way, we're doing this in the 45 win challenge where everyone really wants to win. They're not leaving or conceding until they absolutely know they're going to lose. And that's the funny thing about this deck. It demoralizes the opponent and makes them leave, even in matches they super want to win. So we'll see what we're going to be playing against now. I hope that the match will be a little bit more challenging than the last ones. I want to be able to play into something that, you know, isn't a Darkrai deck because we beat that every single time, like super easily. Okay, it's a water deck. Unfortunately, you know, we don't have the electric energy. So even though in regular Pokemon, you would be able to do super effective moves into a water type Pokemon, it just doesn't necessarily happen with grass in this situation. So, ooh, this is looking pretty bad, actually. We have a Celebi start, which is not what we wanted either. Usually you want to execute, and the Celebi is more so just like, you know, setting up in the back line. So really rough stuff. I think I am going to go and pull the Pokeball right now so we can guaranteed get the other execute. And then if we Pokemon Communication, then we're able to get the Exeggutor. So I just want to do that right now, and then I am willing to go and pull things afterwards. I want to do that right now. Cool. So now if we get another Pokeball, it's not going to be absolutely useless because we can go and pull another Execute from our deck. And okay, cool. We have the Exeggutors. We're all set and ready to go. So ideally, we were able to set up a little bit faster than this, but also his Froakie does 10 damage, so it's not that big of a deal. I do think that I'm just going to keep my Celebi in for the first turn, and I'm not going to sacrifice any damage on our Execute. I think that's okay for me. See what he's going to do. I super can't afford to have this Execute getting executed, you know? Not my type of, not my cup of tea. especially since we have more maneuverability with our Celebi as well. Like, we could keep our Celebi in and start dishing out, you know, pretty hefty blows where we're trying to hit multiple heads in a row. And I think that's pretty good. Also, we do lose to Gyarados. This deck is very bad into Gyarados, and we are playing against Gyarados deck. All right, so yeah, we have a challenging matchup. I'd say the Gyarados is probably the worst matchup for this deck. Yeah, I lose into it very frequently. So because of this, I might just start setting up the Celebi, because the Exeggutor doesn't do enough damage to break through the Dredgegon and then also win into the Gyarados. So maybe starting Celebi was a blessing in disguise here. Yeah, so I guess we got a little bit lucky, even though this is not typically how we want to play. So we'll take it. We'll take what we can get. We're not going to waste any energy on the Celebi. We're going to keep it in the entire time and just Erica it. If we need to keep it healthy, that's the way that we're going to play. But the issue is, if he is able to get a Gyarados, it does enough damage to one-shot my Celebi. Celebi does not survive the Gyarados. That's kind of the problem. The Celebi is able to one-shot a Gyarados, and it is able to one-shot a Charizard, hypothetically, like those two Pokemon that give this deck grief. Those are the worst matchup for this deck. Like, objectively not fun to match into. Okay, so he's going to Misty. Please miss the Misty. Miss the Misty. Miss the Misty, bro. Don't do it. You don't want it. You don't want these heads. You want to hit tails all day. We don't want to see your beautiful face, Eevee. All right, maybe he just times out. No, that's not it. Not it. Not it. Not it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's illegal. That was +7 energy. There's no way that just happened to me. I am so undeniably cooked. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, maybe he just doesn't hit his Gyarados, right? There's that. I don't think so, but sheesh, I should be dead. I mean, we're just going to flip heads and maybe we can get ahead and take out a Pokemon. Yikes. We did not hit the double heads, but he hit 6 in a row. Oh, I love this game sometimes. I am also sad, sir. But yeah, this is the worst matchup for the deck from my understanding. If you guys have played into this and won, let me know how you win it or what your strategy is. For me, I think that the only real way of winning is getting your Celebi out early before they set up the Gyarados. Like, legitimately, that's it. It seems like he doesn't have the Gyarados. He's going to Dredgegon, so he doesn't seem like he has Gyarados right now. So he's probably trying to cycle to the Gyarados and maybe get it in his hand. If he doesn't get the Gyarados, he could get cooked. But here's the thing. It's going to take 3 turns for our Celebi to potentially do this. Wait. Oh. He's scared of the Exeggutor because the Gyarados doesn't one-shot it. That's what he's doing. He's a little bit scared. Okay, bro. You don't have to be scared. All right, we can Cyrus pull in the Frogger and then kill it. I kind of like that. Yeah, I think we're going to do that right now. We're going to potion here. We're going to put in an energy on our Celebi. And then we are going to Cyrus and pull that in just to get the guaranteed kill. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but like it's higher likelihood. And we also don't damage our precious Celebi. Please just hit 1 heads. There's no way the game just did that to me, guys. There's no way. I just missed 0 out of 3. I mean, that's really rough. That is super rough. The likelihood of me missing that was not very high, game. Oh, no. He's going to Professor's Research. No, he's going to pull the Gyarados. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. He's going to go and not even, like, care. He's going to gare. Yeah, that's brutal. This is how the game is played sometimes. We didn't even get, like, lucky enough to have a situation where we could win this. It's just going to be an L. Like, maybe, hypothetically, like, hear me out for a second. We were able to hit Giant Cape, have our Celebi have 150 health. We survive the Gyarados, and then we kill the Gyarados on the next shot. We would have been fine. But that's not how it happened. We're going to get one shot here. I'll just show you guys. It does 140. We'll let him play it out because I'm a nice person, you know. We let these interactions happen. And, you know, I'm fine showing the weaknesses of the deck. I'm not going to cut out this loss. I like showing you guys that not every single game is going to be a W. And there are certain decks that for every amazing matchup that you get into Darkrai, there's a chance you play against an old school Gyarados deck that kicks your butt because it has matchup advantage. So GG and well played to our opponent. We got very unlucky with no Giant Cape there and also how many heads he hit. And then also Us not hitting the heads at the end didn't actually matter, but it could have mattered maybe. Anyway, first loss. Let's jump it on to the next one and see if we can get a pretty nice winning record here. If we go for 3-1, I'll be pretty happy with that. So right after that loss against Gyarados, I had another opponent that lost immediately and left. And I don't want to put that in because I want to hopefully show another game where our opponents will make the game a bit more of a close match, but hopefully not super lucky like they got in the last game with Gyarados. So you know what? When the games are easy, we just steamroll and it's not even close. And we win the games really, really fast. And the games that are difficult, like that Gyarados game, I felt like we were still in it. Maybe if he didn't hit all of those Misty heads. Maybe if he just didn't hit the Gyarados at the end, you know? There are certain things that could have flipped the matchup in our favor. I don't think that the heads that we missed would have actually mattered that much, but seems like we're playing against another top tier deck, which is a fighting Magnemite deck, which, I mean, not necessarily going to be super fun to play into in most situations, but our deck definitely has matchup advantage. So I love that. And yeah, these decks that we're playing against with the Darkrai, the Marshadow, fighting type decks, these are top tier, the best, the cream of the crop. And the fact that we're going to be able to play against them and then show you guys what's up makes me pretty happy because I didn't know what we were going to play against. Maybe we would have played against Gyarados all day and just been like, you know, we can win this, but it's a struggle compared to just showing the pure strength of our deck. So yeah, I'm just going to go and hit him up with a Seed Bomb and see what's happening. He's not going to be able to do enough damage to KO my Execute. And then next turn, we get the Exeggutor. So I quite like our positioning, especially, you know, being second turn means that you are the first person to put the energy down. So you are the first person to get damage. So it didn't really matter that much against this Marshadow because the Marshadow gets one shot by the Exeggutor if we end up hitting our heads, which, you know, we just channel our Misty energy. We will not miss. That's what's up. So that's what we're going for here. I think first off, we're going to go and use our Pokeball. Actually, no, we don't. We're going to go with Professor's Research because we're hoping to hit a Celebi. That's what we're hoping for. Okay, that's fine. Well, we're definitely going to hit Celebi now, and we're also going to hit it in Execute. So we're going to have both. Very cool. So let's go for our Exeggutor. Let's put down our Celebi, and let's start stacking up our Celebi ideally, while also potentially getting another Exeggutor going. So then we have the availability of making a lot of different moves. I like this a lot because when you only have one energy, again, like I can set up a backline and really be ferocious about it. So this Pokemon communication is not necessarily worth it unless I can see my deck. If you guys want a quick tip that I learned is, okay, well, also get good enough to hit your heads apparently. That's the number one tip. But number two is the Pokemon communication, it reshuffles your deck. Same thing with the Pokeball, it reshuffles your deck. So it's just good. Yeah, the guy left, he just loses the game instantly. I guess that's what's just going to happen when they know the game's over because we have the Exeggutor. They just don't even want to play it out because we have a beast on the front line and it crushes through whatever our opponent has. Legitimately, if they have like something that's 80 or less health, they can get one shot and they don't want to play it out. And then if they have something that's setting up on the back line a little bit too slow, the game's immediately over. And because of how this deck is functioning, you can get it set up real fast. And it's one of the best decks to play if you're trying to cruise through the 45 wins as fast as possible. People leave really quickly, and these are games that matter. They all want to win, and we're at 19 wins without even trying and having a really easy, breezy time. With this deck, as long as you're not playing into Gyarados, you can kick back and relax in a tropical setting while your Exeggutor trees terrorize your opponents. Tropical, swing the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe for more daily content, and have an amazing rest of your day.